مشاهدينا الأعزاء نرحب فيكم ببرنامج البشارة, the program of the Holy Land. Welcome to our channel. Last week we talked about Gaza and all the churches that's suffering throughout the entire area of Gaza and the war, and we continue praying for our people to stay strong, and may the Lord bless them, guide them, and help them. And we ask in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ that the peace be among this Holy Land. I know this area has been suffering throughout the years. Even with Jesus' days, they were suffering. Even the whole entire Holy Land has been under siege for many years. And may we ask the Lord to guide us, and we ask the Lord to help our people to be strong. And we ask all these countries to have the heart and the mind to bring the peace to the Middle East. Each person is the image of God. Each child that died, it's the image of God. Every person is the image of God. And as I said before, we are the light of the world as a Christian. So we gotta be there for them, help them, and guide them and protect them as much as we can. And it's very sad to see America as a Christian country, British, and many different countries that's supporting the evil and they don't protect the innocent. So we ask the Lord to give the wisdom and understanding and the peace and the heart to all these leaders in the countries, and have the mercy on us, O Lord. So with that, we want to continue with our channel and our program. We spoke about all these three churches, the very important churches that they've been going through a lot of destruction and a lot of war in Gaza. And now we leave this area and we'll go to the Sea of Galilee. The Sea of Galilee is one of the most beautiful fresh water, and the most, they call it one of the area that the Sea of Galilee has been not changed since Jesus' days. It's been almost the same. I know the water go up and down, but actually the body, it's been the same all these years, through thousands of years. So it's Capernaum, which is one of the main city that the fish market, most of the area around it, today the name has been changed throughout the century, but one of the most important of the Sea of Galilee that, as Jesus picked his best 4 fishermen from the Sea of Galilee from that town. And as you know, Peter and Andrew and James and John, they are fishermen. And other person that he picked from the same area is the tax collector, who was named Saint Matthew also. So there's about 5 people there, disciples of Jesus. They were from the same area of the Sea of Galilee. So we're going to talk about a lot of churches. There's a lot of area that we're going to mention, and we're going to show you a lot of photos and a lot of different churches located around the Sea of Galilee. And I had the privilege and the honor to be there many times, and every time I tried to be in the Sea of Galilee because it's a beautiful fresh water. Approximately about 80% of Jesus' time ministry exercise, and they did many things. He lived in the Sea of Galilee, Capernaum, and especially in that area. بحر طبرية بقولوا بالعربي, but he spent almost 70 to 80% of his time right there in the Sea of Galilee. And many people wrote about it, and many different in the gospel, as we're going to read a couple of them in the gospel, that he was living with Peter and his family. We call it Peter's house. And we're going to see some of the churches that they did have the Peter house in the Sea of Galilee. So let's talk about the Sea of Galilee as a whole area. It's in Arabic, بحر طبرية, in different, throughout the century, they changed their name. Lake Tiberias, some of them Kinneret in Hebrew, Lake Gennesaret. It's in a different area in the book. They were talking about the Sea of Galilee. So but the most important name, we always call it the Sea of Galilee, or Tiberias is the most common name right now we use in the Holy Land. It's a fresh water. The lake is one of the lowest fresh water on earth. Is the second lowest water. The first one is the Dead Sea. So when you look at the entire Holy Land, you see the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea way below that, and they are the two important and the lowest water on earth. The fresh water right now, Sea of Galilee, is the second lowest in the world, and then the Dead Sea. But the Dead Sea it's a salty water, as some of you guys and some of the area we go all the time to see to the Dead Sea is very salty. And then as the Sea of Galilee is about, let's talk about a little bit about the entire, about the whole entire Sea of Galilee. It's about 215 below sea level. That's the lowest, one of the lowest points. And it is approximately about 21 kilometers, which is about 13 miles long, and about 13 kilometers or 8 miles wide, the whole entire lake, the entire lake of the Sea of Galilee. It's about approximately 166.7 kilometers squares, and it's about 64.4 square miles, the whole entire Sea of Galilee. That's the entire water. It's approximately about 141 feet deep, 43 meter deep, the water. So, and that lake, it comes in from the mountain. It's actually, it comes in underground spring, comes in and feed on the lake, as important as this water comes in from the north, from Syria and the mountain, and they come down to the Sea of Galilee. And so that's the shape of the lake. It's almost like the heart. As you look at it from far away, it looks like a human heart, the lake itself. So, and it's many people had visited the area. There is a lot of different places to visit and many churches to visit. So the Franciscan have purchased some of the area in there for the area in 1994 and excavated in 1968. That's one of the first area that been purchased by the Franciscan. And the Franciscan, when they purchased that area, that used to be Peter's house, and they discover also the synagogue where Jesus prayed and many people prayed in that area. So it is a very important area that the Franciscan has a beautiful church right there they call it the Peter's house, and it's actually in the glass, and we're gonna show you some pictures, and was dedicated in 1990, that church. And so when you get into the church, you look down and you see the entire Peter's house, and you go outside the area and you see the synagogue and many different area that they were there. And many, when they discovered this site, the Franciscan, there's about 135 inscription on the wall of the area of the house of Peter, and it has Jesus and Peter's name in different languages right on the wall of the entire house. So you see different writing and different names, and they also found many layers of oil lamp that been destroyed throughout the century underneath the dwelling. So that area, they call it the house of church, which is from now when we see it, it's the Peter was living there, and also Jesus was with his family. So it's the local, Jesus was, as you guys know, it became a major local industry, that area, because it's a fishing area. It has a lot of fresh fish that many boats comes in and they fisher. About at that time, there's a lot of area in the Sea of Galilee that has been developed, and many towns has been made hotels and many different area that you could stay. City of Tiberias right now, it's very large, and many different hotels and many different resort right on the lake itself. And as I was a child growing in Nazareth, my dad, we used to take us to the lake, to that beautiful Sea of Galilee. We spend many camping area, many different shore, and many different, you learned how to swim right on that beautiful lake. So that lake is very dear to me and to my family. So because we grew up right next to it. It's about a half an hour from the city of Nazareth where we grew up, and we used to come to the Sea of Galilee to have the summer and learn and camping over there with the family. Jesus made the town Capernaum as a center ministry in Galilee, and using the lake shore as for the good news. So as you know, that Capernaum was a very heavy area where it's almost like the highway at Jesus' days, where everything going to Asia, everything going to Jerusalem, everything going to the sea. So it was a major territory, major highway going back to Syria and many different the Asian area, and then it go down to the sea. So it is very central location, and that's the reason the news. Every time Jesus was in Capernaum, the news has spread very fast because it was people traveling from many different sides of the country going through Capernaum and coming down to Jerusalem and go down to Egypt from there. So it is a very central location right in the Sea of Galilee. And that's where Jesus used and did many miracles, and we're going to talk about more in detail and from the Bible as Jesus did many different things in there off the shore of Sea of Galilee. Right now, Jesus did his public ministry right there, and like we talked about it before, from that place picked most of his disciple and apostle were there learning from Jesus, and many of them, they were fishermen, and many people came to him for healing power. Many miracles happened right on the shore. And then perhaps knowing the Sermon on the Mount, which is we are going to talk about it, Beatitude, and we're going to talk about whereas Peter was fishing over there also. The boat of Peter was in the same area. So there is many different sites that we're going to be able to mention. So it's going to maybe taken about 2 to 3 different episodes to complete the entire Sea of Galilee and many different sites that we're going to be able to see. There's many different area that fishermen and some more one of the area, the Tabra, was the post resurrection of Jesus appear after the death, that he appeared there in the Tabra, and we're gonna that's right in next to the Sea of Galilee. So we're gonna mention also in the area. As you saw some of the area in about Tabra, it's about also where the many different area that Jesus was coming to the Sea of Galilee, and you're going to see different site where he healed many different people on the shore, and many different things happening right there in the area. So we're going to be able to mention it about different sites in the Sea of Galilee. Tabra is one of the important one too. We're going to mention Beatitude. We're going to mention it also because there is many caves also in the mountain of Sea of Galilee, and we're going to show you some of the beautiful sight from those mountains that Jesus were there. So he calmed the storm, as you know. Jesus also walked on the water in the Sea of Galilee, and as many different area of the Sea of Galilee, the reasons being a lot of people wonder why they call it the Sea of Galilee, because it'll act like a sea, because the wind comes in from the north and comes in on the lake, because it's very low in height, very low in depth, And so when the wind comes in, it'll act like a sea. And so when some of the weather that I seen on the Sea of Galilee, it look like almost like in the sea, very high waves will come in. And so that season is very dangerous in some of the area in the middle of the Sea of Galilee. So it's very important to know why they called it, because it's very centered in Galilee, and many different things happening right there in the middle of it. So we're gonna in 1986 there was a big discovery, because when the water level came down, they found the old fishing boat right in the Sea of Galilee, as the water, as you know, we had some drought in the area too. So the level of the water came down very low, that they discover old fishing boat that it'll go back to almost the first century of Jesus. So they feeling that's one of the boats that it was from Jesus' time. And I think some of the area in the Sea of Galilee, they have the boat available to see it, and how big and the size of the boat. So you could always, when you go to Sea of Galilee, you're going to be able to see some of those places that they've discovered the fishing boat in the Sea of Galilee. Also, it's modern time, there are a lot of areas happening in that. There is St. Peter from the Sea of Galilee came in, and the St. Peter also, there's about different section of the Sea of Galilee where the tax collector were offering people paying the taxes right there, because it was a major highway. And that's where exactly Jesus picked Matthew. He was on that particular area, and that where Jesus, you see in Matthew 17:24, in the book of Matthew, that where he left everything behind, and when Jesus called him, he came down, and there was become one of the apostle of Jesus. So the tax collector was in that middle of the area. So we want to talk about a little bit more about some of this area and some of those churches that we're going to talk about more in the history, about what exactly the time, who made it, and some of the area of the churches that it's very important in the Sea of Galilee. And we're going to get you more depth as far as those churches in detail, who built them. The Franciscan has many churches in there, and there is many Bethsaida. There's another area in that area where we're going to talk about some churches, and then we're going to talk about on the other side of the Sea of Galilee, Bethsaida, where is another area. We're going to mention it among many areas in the Sea of Galilee. So with that, we want to, I know it's going to be a little bit short program these days because of our sad news that we always hear from back home on Palestine and the area that going through a lot of different area in our town. And every day we're watching the news, and it's getting worse and worse, and saddened for us that we cannot do nothing. So we ask everybody if they need any to help us. And many churches from Gaza, they're calling us and asking for help financially, anything we could do to support those churches and those many different Christian family right in the midst of this war happening. So we ask you to call us and ask us to see if you could help us and support this channel and support those family back home. You could call the phone number that's available for you to call, and we'd be happy to provide those funds to the churches local especially in Gaza and Bethlehem and Jerusalem. That's always there to support and to help on the local family right in the midst of the war. So we ask you to call, to check, to make anything possible for us to have the peace right there in the Middle East. And we pray for God that to support them and guide them. With that, we want to thank you. It's been a great pleasure, and it's been sad for me to continue and work hard. And at the same time, my mind is going through my families and friends back home. It's been the news we see every day. It's saddening, and it's to see all these kids being killed, families being killed, and mothers and fathers being destroyed, and many churches and mosques being destroyed under this war. With that, I want to thank you. God bless you, and good night.